Hey, you guys, if y'all are watching and tuned in, say something in the comments. We're about to get started. Yeah, once we go on air, thank you, my side producer.
Okay.
Hey everyone, it is Wednesday. You are listening to 97.5 FM KDEE. I am Agent Key and we are Selling Sacramento. Reminding you that Selling Sacramento is brought to you every Wednesday at 1 by Matthews and Company Realty Group, where I, Agent Key Matthews, am the broker and owner for almost 20 years. Go to my website at agentkey.com, AGENTKEE.com, because I am looking forward to helping you buy, sell, and retain real estate. If you're looking to sell or looking to buy, go to my website, and at the top, whether you are on your mobile device or your desktop, the top of the screen will give you access to me if you want to send me a text, if you want to email me, chat with me, schedule a Zoom meeting. It's all there. You know how I am. Verge of technology, whatever is easy for you. So, with that being said, we are also live right now on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Just search Selling Sacramento Agent Key on your favorite platform and join the conversation. Let us know that you're there, or say hi to us in the chat. I see a Facebook user. Hey, Keisha and fellas.
Hey,
You got to give permission to the platform that you're on to use your name if you want us to see your name. They are safeguarding you all these days. So you can tap in and say hi, ask a question, or just join in the conversation with your feedback, because we'd love to hear from you. And if you're listening on the radio, we'll be taking a couple of commercial breaks. But if you're watching us on the social media platforms, we are keeping the show going. And I'm excited about my guests today. You will actually hear from them because I will be away in the LA area at the California Association of Real Estate Brokers Conference in a couple of weeks. And so these two gentlemen will be sitting in for me. Thank you very much. They'll be hosting the show. We have Mr. Keelan Johnson and Mr. Daniel Robertson. Say hi, fellas. Introduce yourselves.
I'll go first. My name is Keelan Johnson. I'm a realtor with eXp Realty. I've been in the business for about 4 years. I'm really about the people and helping families build generational wealth. So I'm all about mindset. I'm all about just passion when it comes to building. So I'm here. I'm grateful to be here, and I appreciate Keisha for having me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah, no, I appreciate Keisha for having me this the second time.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm really excited to be here.
I need some energy in y'all voice. Come on now.
All right, let me pump it up.
Yes, pump it up.
But yeah, no, I'm excited to be here. This is the second time on here, and yeah, no, like just like Keelan, you know, I love educating people about home ownership,
right,
and educating about generational wealth. But
yeah.
I'm a lender with Golden Bay Mortgage Group, and I'm in Sacramento in the Thomas area, but service all of California.
Yes, yes. And that is why I invited both of them to be on the show for a couple of reasons, because I've worked with them before, working with both of them now, seeing the two of them communicate together. They have a vibe, they have an energy. And so they're being a little bashful right now, but they're probably going to bring it when I'm gone. It's just going to be the two of them. You know how guys do it. Exactly. And they both are about the same thing that I'm about, which is educating you with regard to the real estate industry and the things that are happening. And so let's just dive right into it. Today's show, I've entitled, Marry the Payment, Date the Rate. And if you think about that, if you're in the industry and you think about that, you know exactly what that means, because the interest rate right now is rocketing. Well, I shouldn't say rocketing. It has increased, and it has startled a few people. However, if we actually put it in proper perspective, it won't be too startling. And so that is what I hope to do today. I've been talking about it over the past couple of weeks. I did a video about it a few days ago, and today I want to help paint the picture and get this information out. This is information that all real estate agents should be telling the community, telling the
100%.
public,
100%.
right? It is possible to buy a home in any market if the payment fits you.
100%.
And it is lucrative and beneficial for a buyer to buy a home if the payment fits you when you don't have a lot of competition.
Yes. Yes.
Right? So let's talk about, do you all remember what the market was like? I'm going to try to take you back. Let's jump into a time machine and go back. Who had just got elected? Our current president was just, no. Trump was just elected.
He was still in office.
He was in
He was still in office.
So 2016, and I want you to think all the way up to 2019,
Gotcha, yeah.
right before COVID happened the next year. Daniel, you're in mortgage.
Yeah.
What was the interest rate? Do you remember? I have the number right here, and it's not intended to be a pop quiz.
No,
if you just do a.
See, I wasn't in mortgages at the time, but I know that. Was it similar to now?
It was very similar to now.
Yes,
you passed.
Yes.
Look, you would have passed the test. So that is important for you to understand, ladies and gentlemen. The interest rate in 2019, I'm going to give you the exact number because I was estimating from 2016 to 2019, interest rates were as low as 3.99% and as high as 5.34% pre-pandemic.
Yep.
So I want to give you a few more history stats. It is expected. First, let me tell you this. From the time the Feds reduced rates in 2020, in March of 2020, to today, and actually I'll say the summer, right when rates started going higher, right? Was that April, May when they started increasing rates? Homeowners saw an equity gain of about 27%.
It's crazy.
That is in less than 2 years. The average equity gain for homeowners year over year is 3 to 5%.
Yeah.
That's like
flipping your money right
Yeah.
there.
Right?
You buy a home next year, you selling it, and then buying again, you just made a whole bunch of money.
There's a whole lot of money in real estate. Oh my gosh. For these past 2 years, that's what it's been looking like.
People who miss out on Bitcoin. I mean, if he was in real estate,
Woo!
that's a whole nother.
What'd you say? That's what I was thinking.
Everything during that time, if you took advantage, if you actually took advantage, then you came up for sure.
I did come up on the Doge the first year. I have to admit, my Doge saw a pretty penny. Woo-wee.
Yeah.
So I said that to say the economists are now anticipating within the next 2 years, 20% of that equity will be lost. And it brings it back down to what? 7%.
Yep.
Which is what? The average that it's supposed to be year over year.
Stabilization.
Right? So think about that. This is simple mathematics. This is not even deep. We're not even going quantum. We're barely going algebra. This is very simple mathematics. What goes up must come down. There was something that happened that triggered this, and we're just getting back to a stable market, right? So I think we got to take a break. Oh, I'm a little early, but we're going to take a break anyway because I'm about to jump into a stat that y'all want to hear. So before we go on break, I just want to reiterate, 27% gain in 2 years. And over the next 2 years, 20% of that is estimated to disappear. We're going to take a break. If you are watching via social media, we're going to continue the conversation, but you're listening to 97.5 FM KDEE. I'm Agent Key, and we'll be right back.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Hey, so Facebook user is also saying
20%.
that was from Zaretha Thompson. Oh, hey, Z.
That's gonna scare.
We didn't even. For some reason, I can't see your name on there.
Before that, it was just like that's what it was.
Okay. Wow. Nikki Nicole said, "Wow." Y'all gotta talk to the people.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Each
How you
other.
doing?
Nikki Nicole, what's going on?
Okay.
And let's see here. She said, "Hey."
Hey,
So
how you doing?
that was Zarita saying, "Hey, Keisha and fellas."
Oh, that was her.
Hello.
What's going on, Queen Z?
Big dog, big dog.
Yeah. So if you guys are tuned in, say something in the chat. Let us know you're there. Let us know you're there. Nikki said, "Hey, y'all."
How you doing today, Nikki? I hope your day is going good. I hope you're feeling good.
So we're going to continue the conversation here. You guys are going to get to hear some stuff that we probably won't get to talk about on the air. We want to get all the comments in, though. This is good information. The benefit of watching online is that we get to talk to you immediately during the break.
Just some feedback from
Hey,
the
hey.
crowd.
Chanel said, hey.
Who's that? Chanel?
Chanel.
Oh, Chanel. Hey,
Oh,
Chanel.
what's good?
Yeah.
I want to hear from our
Michelle
crowd
said, hey.
what they want to hear,
Right?
you know, in our show.
What questions do you, if y'all have any questions for myself or the fellas right now?
Yeah.
And if you have anything that you want to hear Daniel and Keelan talk about in 2 Wednesdays, they will be here in 2 Wednesdays running the ship.
Yeah.
So whatever you want to hear them talk about. Hope you all are well. You all look great, Nikki Nicole. Yes, thank you. I'm well.
Hey, Michelle, how you doing?
Y'all well?
How you doing?
We are doing well,
feeling
Michelle.
good, feeling good. Thank you, Nick.
Feeling good.
Appreciate you.
Okay.
You gonna have this man apply to be on the radio.
So here's the thing that we're going to get into when we come back from the break. We're going to talk about how the interest rate right now is only 1.5% higher than it was right before COVID, and why that's important to keep in mind. We're going to talk about during this wonderful interest rate time that everybody want to see again, how quickly we forget, right? It's almost like, and y'all maybe can relate to this, when you're pregnant and you're in labor and you're actually in labor and it's painful, it's like, you want to kill somebody.
I can't relate,
but you was, yes.
About,
and then after the baby is born, you're like, oh, so beautiful. And you totally forget what the labor pains were like.
Yeah.
And I believe that that's where people are right now with the real estate market. Like
That's
those the babies is the 2%
That's similar to working out.
Yeah.
Throwing around weights, time you done. You just want to give up once the workout is
I
finished.
don't like going to the gym. I like the results.
Right? Who likes getting up in the morning? So should I wait or buy?
Right.
We're about to tell you in a few minutes. Hang tight.
3 live.
Hey everyone, we're back. You're listening to 97.5 FM KDEE. And I was just giving an analogy. I was only going to share it with our social media group, but I'm going to share it with everybody because guys said that's a good analogy. So y'all know when you are in labor, women can relate to this. Men, if you were by the bedside, you can relate because you probably got cussed out or got pulled on or something. When the woman is in labor, it is so super painful. You're asking probably for some kind of a drug to help calm because it's just so painful. But then after the baby is born, you're looking at the baby, you're like, oh, it's so beautiful. I think that people right now are equating that 2%, 3% interest rate with the baby. 100%. Oh, it was just so beautiful. And forgetting about the labor. So let's talk about the labor. Do y'all remember what it was like representing buyers?
I do personally. Long lines at open houses.
Talk about how give them a window to see through.
Look, I'm gonna tell you this: agents were feeling themselves back then too. Listing agents not calling you back, making you wait to just several offers coming in, over asking. Basically, you had to come with it, or they were just pushing you out the door pretty much. There wasn't a lot of inventory back then, so you had slim pickings.
Say that again.
There wasn't much inventory. Less supply, more demand. Demand was crazy back then.
Y'all hear this?
Mainly because like you said, the interest rates were extremely low, so you having people are able to afford much more back then. So they were like, 20K over, that's nothing. Let me dish it
20
30.
30?
I've seen
40?
100K.
It was
It was
ridiculous.
ridiculous. So that's what the market was like in 2020 during COVID, 2021 also.
With the 2, 3, 4% interest rates
Mhm.
that you guys seem to miss, and I don't mean to say you guys, that people are seeming to miss.
Yeah.
With those low interest rates came a really tough fight. What about you? What were you
Yeah.
seeing, Daniel?
From the processing side of things, I remember handling a lot of files because
Mm-hmm.
I started as a loan processor,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember it being really easy for on a professional side of things
Mm-hmm.
to get a deal. Now you see a lot of agents having to prospect and call their database.
Yeah.
So it's tough now, and so just being real, you gotta, as a professional, we gotta consult more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you can't look at one part of that moment and take away just the nice part that made you feel good.
Yeah.
Oh, the rates were so low.
Yeah.
Because I know not only did the buyers have a hard time, but buyers just left the market because it was just too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had buyers who pre-qualified at a certain amount, and by the time they found a house that they could actually fall in love with, because the pickings were so slim,
Mhm.
by the time they found a house they could fall in love with, by the time we made the offer, 30, 45 days might have gone by. They go back to get the pre-approval updated.
Mhm.
The rate has moved,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and their affordability has changed.
Okay.
And that house that they fell in love with, that they've been looking for because they've been pushed out,
Mhm.
has changed.
Yeah.
I had buyers that initially were trying to move into Green Haven or
Natomas.
yes,
North Natomas. Yeah.
and by the time they tapped out, we were in Meadowview and off Power Inn Road, and they were really trying to make it work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not to demean those areas, but we're talking about affordability and price points. You've got a house off of Power Inn and Mac Road that 2 years ago would sell for maybe $285.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now selling for $525.
I think it's one word when it comes to what's going on is choices. So when the interest rate is higher, right? Now you limit the choices. You don't have as much of a choice to just shop around and say, I want to be in this area. I want to be in this area. Now you have to weigh the pros and the cons with areas, and you really have to get down to what you're comfortable with.
Absolutely.
Things you can eliminate from your budget. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, that's okay, because it was just going into Nikki's question right here. One of our users, one of our viewers.
In my opinion, it's one of the best times to buy right now.
She said she did ask. So she had a two-parter. So should I wait or buy? And then she says, do you think housing prices are going to come down? So the answer to question number one, should you wait to buy, depends on your financial situation, right?
For sure.
If you're able to, if it's not gonna increase your expenses to where now your income isn't enough to sustain it,
right?
If you can do it, I would suggest doing it. I mean, because at the end of the day, we're realtors, we're professionals, we're lenders, but we're not fortune tellers. So we don't know where the market is going, but we can read the trends and give you the statistical facts at the same time. And based on that, I would say it's a good time to buy. And she's going to explain a little more with that Marion date too.
And I was going to go into it too, because with the mortgage and the way that Keelan was explaining it was perfect, because if it's within your budget, and so if we're saying if it's within your budget, that means you have to what? You got to have a budget.
Yeah,
you got to know your expenses. You have to know what's coming in and what's going out. Most people who say they can't afford something just haven't taken the time to look at the receipts. What have you been spending money on? And if you take care of that piece first, you can probably find a few $100s. I literally found over almost $1,000 by going in and getting rid of subscriptions that were on auto pay, y'all.
That's how they get you right there.
To the weed. I was like, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, the auto pays kill people. And you know what's funny too? Just you saying that alone, buying a house it's kind of cleaning up your life too, because you have to,
It forces
you
to get it in order.
right? You got to look in the mirror, like, what am I doing financially? So even the fact, even if you don't get a house, the process of trying to get a home, you're actually bettering your life in that way financially.
That's the title of another show, y'all. Get your financial house in order to buy your physical house, something like that. I'm a
100%.
wordsmith that thing, but
That's, I mean, that's
It's
my
a
number. That's my number one thing before even getting pre-approved is getting in the mindset of, are you paying your bills now? That's number one for me. I asked them, hey, what are your goals and what is your budget? And we can go over your budget, and because if you're not ready now, you can position yourself. Real estate is about positioning yourself. So if you're not ready now with these high interest rates, wait till interest rates drop down. You can, eventually become a homeowner.
And that is exactly what today's show is about positioning yourself, because we are helping you understand what happened so that you can see where we are, and so that it makes sense to where we're headed, so that you are not feeling like you have to run around like Chicken Little, like the sky is falling. It's not. Things are just flattening. They're fixing themselves. I like to put it like this: the feds have turned the ship around. And if you think about a ship and how long it takes to turn, you can't just swing that thing. You can't just, whoop and then bust a U. It takes a long time for a ship to turn. And not only does it take a long time for the ship to turn, you can't do a wide turn. They have to do slow incremental degrees of turn. And it makes a huge ship make a big turn. And so with the interest rates increasing, the rates are going to continue to increase until the mentality of those who hold the goods that consumers buy, until that mentality changes, until owners start pricing their homes right, which will induce spending. Because it does not matter what and sellers, you're going to get mad. Homeowners, you might get mad at me for saying this, but I'm saying it because I love you. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you think your home is worth.
It's what the market says it's worth.
It's what the market says it's worth. It's what a buyer is willing to pay. You can think your home is worth $500 because you did this beautiful aqua blue DIY tile over your fireplace.
Yeah.
And you need to break that down in another
episode. You got an aquarium.
What improves your home?
Yes.
What really improves your home?
What really brings value? That is another episode. Y'all, what
Gems, right?
really improves?
Shout out to MG.
Okay, because really, when you improve your home, when you get ready to sell it, it's only giving you a percentage of a return on what you put into it.
100%.
There are stats on that.
100%. You don't want to overspend.
And if you don't do it right, you're not getting nothing on that, because somebody's coming in and looking at that like, dang, I got to go in and do that all over.
That's like you putting in that 70s wallpaper on your home. Like, I like this right here.
Popcorn ceiling.
People come in like, no, that's not it. That's not it.
When you update and improve your home, you really should, especially if you do it custom wise, you should plan to be spending at least the next 5 to 7 years there, so that you can personally enjoy that. Because there's a huge chance that the next person that owns the house won't. They're not going to give you the value for it. They're going to come in and tear it out. And we really need to understand that. Let go of your ego and your pride when it comes to what you do to your house if you're thinking about selling it. I always encourage my owners, when they're ready to sell their home and they want to get the most value, my goal is neutralize. You don't go in thinking what you want. Make your home most attractive to the largest number of buyers possible out there, because you don't know what they want.
A way to figure out what they want too is by looking at the comps. So you look at what's sold in the area and you look at the pictures of the property.
That's
so
a great
what kind
suggestion.
of flooring do they have? Okay, what kind of countertops do they have? Obviously, and then you call the agent. Hey, if it's pending, what did you get in contract at? Oh, we got in contract at this, a little bit over, or a little bit over. Okay, so you need to put these granite countertops in your kitchen.
Well, you know what, but I always tell them, don't put in stuff when you're getting ready to sell, because you're not getting that back. Gotcha. You will not get it back. I always tell them low cost to no cost, and low cost to no cost is painting, deep clean, and changing the fixtures.
Gotcha.
If you got to put in something bigger than that, then you have to expect that you're not going to get that back. It has to have looked horrific and unsellable.
This is for the people that this is for the people that actually want to put upgrades into their home.
If they're staying in it.
Yeah, if they're staying in it, for sure.
That's great. Yeah.
Would the market determine what you need to do to your home as well? Like, would you, like you said, before April, people were, houses were flying off the shelf, but now they're sitting. So what would you advise now with the home sitting to do?
I would advise agents to have that hard conversation with their sellers and tell them to price it right. I would tell agents to go back to the 2019 pricing. As a matter of fact, I'm going to read something to you. I practice what I preach, y'all. And I must say, I am very convincing because my seller agreed. Now, I'm not convincing all the time because I have one seller that didn't agree. But, you can't convince everybody. But here's what I want to share. So I sent an outline of the market in the area of a subject property that I have listed to my seller, and it covered the past several years. It encompassed a window right before COVID, 2019, and up to present day. And it showed the sales in response to the lowered rates after shelter in place was issued in 2020. And it showed current sales, or the lack thereof, after rate increases. The homes that were selling and when they sold were predicated upon buyer affordability. The higher margin that sellers are going for right now is unattainable. But that's what they think they can get, right? They're like, let's list it high. So-and-so's house sold last year for. But is it going to happen?
Yeah.
No, it's not going to happen. It's no longer available. Agents must have these conversations with their sellers, showing them what's attainable based on buyer affordability in comparison to today's interest rate. You got to do the math.
Yeah.
Agents need to sit down with a mortgage lender when they run the comps and say, if I list this house at this price, what is the likely mortgage rate going to be? The mortgage amount and the rate. And when they say $4,000, you need to adjust because nobody is there mentally at a $4,000. The average mortgage paying person in Sacramento County, the average rent paying person in Sacramento County is not prepared to pay $4,000 a month.
Not only that, you got to look at the mindset with the economy right now. Your mortgage is $4,000. That's scary because it's you're over leveraged.
You gotta bring in the whole family. Put everybody on the application.
You got bedroom 3. Possible. You got bedroom 2.
When you got to put everybody on the mortgage application.
You serious?
Yes.
You serious. Hey, shout out to you though.
Yeah, because I have seen it. I have seen it. But there's a strategy when I've seen it. It's not because they're trying to do this crazy rate. It's because there's a strategy of we're going to take care of you first. Then once we get you in the house, then we're going to go do it for so-and-so. Wash, rinse, repeat.
I'm going to just keep it real. Black folks need to do that too.
But yeah, we do.
Because we don't. And I see a lot of other, cultures do that. They keep all the family in one, just with businesses too. We all working in this business. And now we're going to open up another one and you're managing this one. And then we're going to work in there too. And let's just keep it going until we own the whole block.
Mindset.
Same thing with real estate. We need to do the same.
So the longer that it takes sellers to pivot, the more cancellations we're going to see. And the longer it will take the market to turn, which also means we will see more rate increases as the feds put the squeeze on the market to force them to change their mindsets. I shared this information with my seller in the area of the subject property because it's a very unique neighborhood. one property sold in that area, and it was in January this year, which just so happens to be what? Right before the rates increased. And the other 4 transactions in that area that happened, guess what they were? Cancellations. No other sales.
Mm-hmm. So you got to come up with your own counts at
Yeah.
this point.
He said, let's get it sold, drop it. So I'm excited to get back to my computer today, drop the price to something people are going to afford, and we're going to get it sold.
But see, it took you consulting with them and pulling up information that, because you have all this fear on the news and the headlines, and I mean, we're correcting. It's not crashing though.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I've never been one of those people to have to wait around to pivot and change.
Mm-mm.
If I see something's coming I'm moving. I don't have to wait to see people running.
It's called proactive over reactive. That's one of my family mottos. Proactive
if you are proactive, and yes, because if you can see the writing on the wall, and you gotta trust what you see. I would rather believe in what I see and move on it and maybe be wrong than to wait to get confirmation from this person, that person. Years go by, and then I'm sitting there like shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah. It's called being in denial. Honestly, you're not even accepting what's right in front of you. And I think what sellers need to understand is that markets change all the time.
Right. And we're heading into a new market.
And it's just like, here's the one thing that they have to accept: I missed out.
Yeah. And real estate,
I didn't take action when I could have taken action. It could be on any circumstance. You may not have been able to find a replacement property, which is perfectly fine, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't even give it an opportunity to see if I could in 2020 and 2021. So that extra 100 to 200,000 that I could have gotten, I'm not getting it now.
Tara said, great advice, team. We're looking at some feedback here online. Nikki said overpriced houses with the eyeballs, and she's clapping. She's laughing. Shout out to Immaculate Painting. Rich!
Shouting himself.
Rich Cardenas. Okay. Now this is why we like y'all to put stuff in the comments, because I'm supposed to read them before I, shout them out. But because it's Rich, and because he is my painter of choice, he definitely is.
Tell him it's $20 to advertise on.
Throw me my coins and no joke. No, Rich takes very good care of my clients. Rich Cardenas with Immaculate Painting, absolutely.
Yeah.
And let's see here, what else do we have? We really do. Nikki said, generational wealth. Oh, she's referencing what you were referring to.
Generational wealth.
Okay,
that's what it's all about.
So, if you guys have comments, put them in the chat. Questions, put them in the chat. Shout out your business. I don't know. I'm going to start reading them first.
Right? Man, free advertisement.
Yes. So now that the feds are going back in reverse to get prices where they need to be, it's simultaneously a great opportunity for those who are prepared. And so how we talk to buyers about preparing and why it's still a great time. So there are a few points that I listed that I came up with, and I'm saying came up with, but as this stuff happens to me, and as my clients take advantage, and as they get positioned, and as I'm still closing transactions, I'm like, I got to share this information, because if we know, what is this? The more we know, the more we grow, all of those things that you can say about knowledge, right? Take advantage of this time to find a house that you love with less competition, no pressure, and write your own terms. Make an offer in accordance with a payment that fits your budget. I have clients right now in escrow, and they ask the seller for a $20,000 credit for a rate buy down for their first year, and the seller said yes. The seller also paid for all of the inspection reports, and there's a pool in the house.
Good real estate.
Hold on. What did you just say?
Yes, sir. The pool inspection report, the sewer inspection report, the pest inspection report.
Pool in the house.
Oh, not in the house. A pool in the backyard.
All our transactions.
Oh, I'm saying there's a pool. The house has a pool.
You must be in
The pool is in the backyard. It's in the backyard. But all of the reports, he paid for all 5 reports. And the idea, the concept now is that sellers who know that they're probably going to have to reduce their home to get it sold, sellers who really have a home that they have to sell. Yes. These are the houses that you're going to see on the market now. People who are trying to get their house sold to get money for 2020, 2021 years, that ship has sailed.
It has.
It is over. Stop looking for that reward. It ain't coming. It's just not. It doesn't make financial sense. And the faster we get over that moment in time, the faster we can get back on track, and we will see housing prices settle. We will see it's I think it has a lot to do also with, like, gas went up.
Oh yeah.
The
economy definitely has an effect on mortgage rates.
All of that.
Yeah.
The cost of food. I think I may have mentioned before, I buy these certain eggs. It's just me.
I want to say this about like, to sellers. You have to start thinking that unless you're going to be there forever, and like I said, it's that generational home. On average, people move every 5 years?
Every 5 years.
7 years. And you know if a home is not your final home. You know it. But in that time, you have to think of your home as your bank, and you need to leverage it completely. You need to leverage that thing. It's your bank. That's where you put your money in from your job every single month, and it accrues interest. It's paying you out much more than your savings account at Bank of America, whatever the case may be. You're making money off of it through appreciation. But you need to think about when you're selling, it's just like an investment. Your rate of return on your investment. If you want to sell your home for these extracurricular prices, like in 2021, your home is going to sit on the market way longer. So by the time you get paid, it's going to be the same amount as if you listed it at the correct price and you got it sold within a month.
That's a great point.
Advice, yeah.
That's a great point. So what he's saying again also is know your numbers. If you know your numbers out the gate going in, then it's not going to take you long as a seller to make the pivot, because you knew going in. Sellers who put their homes on the market and have equity already and are not trying to see $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 extra. Sellers who are smart and just think, I'm putting my home on the market because I've had it for 5 years. I've had it for 8 years. I've had it for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, whatever, some length of time beyond the past 5 years. You have equity, most likely. There is no need to put your home on the market at 2021, 2022 pricing. It's not going to sell, number one. Number two, it will sell faster and sooner, and probably higher than what you price it at, because it will be the only thing worth making an offer on.
Yeah.
If you price it right.
100%.
So let's say your 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,500 square foot home in Elk Grove before COVID was valued at $425 and you bought it for $220. If you put that home on the market right now at $425, it will probably sell for $475, because somebody is going to think they just hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
Because there are other 3-bed, 2-bath. How many square feet did I say? 1,500 square foot homes listed right now at $500 something thousand dollars.
$600s.
Because they're thinking they can get way more.
Yeah.
And that's why you got to work with local professionals. A lot of the news that you guys see is national headlines. You're not looking, real estate is local.
Absolutely.
Business is local. It might be doing, it might be jumping in one area and not so hot in another area.
That's true.
So you got to work with people who's doing deals right now in your city, Sacramento, right? So we got 2 awesome realtors right here who can help you do that. So you definitely need to work with some local professionals.
And we got a local lender.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And while we're on that, why don't y'all share your contact information with the people?
Yes. Daniel Robertson, Mango at GB Mortgage Group. And if you have any questions with mortgage rates, how you can kind of combat this raising rate environment, give me a call 916-450-1507.
And can they text you?
Oh yeah, you can text me, email me.
I'm
available. I'm available. I will be. That's one thing. Also working with someone who's real, right? Not working with these iBuyer programs. You can call somebody if you have a question. So I'll definitely be available.
Give that phone number one more time.
916-450-1507.
So it's funny you mentioned iBuyers, but I want Keelan to give his contact information. And I'm gonna come back with the iMortgage lenders.
Yes, hard to follow.
Keelan, how can they reach you, sir?
All right, so you can reach me, Keelan Johnson, at Facebook, or you can reach me on my Instagram. It's THA Conscious Realtor, the Conscious Realtor. My number is 916-670-3153. Free to give me a call, free to give me a text. Also, for anyone looking to learn about the market and what's going on, we're having an event at my office, Team Fast office in Sacramento. It's October 13th from 1 to 3. We're having Ryan Lanquist, the SAC appraiser. He's coming through and giving market information, which
we
is
love
golden.
Ryan.
Which is golden.
That's
So,
the homie.
that's what we're doing.
Is it on Eventbrite or?
It is on Eventbrite.
So if we go to Eventbrite and search for it, what would we
It's
search?
It's called Market and Mimosas. So we definitely will have some drinks in there, some food.
Market, Mimosas, and Ryan
October
Lundquist.
13th. October 13th.
October
I
13th.
think that's a Wednesday. It might be a Wednesday or Thursday.
And what's your phone number again? One more time so that people know to text you there too.
My phone number is 916-670-3153. And definitely work with professionals. Definitely work with people who are in the field, in the market, and those that actually care about their clients. Like these three people, me, Keisha, Daniel, we actually care about our clients. It's not about a dollar. It's about really helping people position themselves for the future. So
absolutely
tap in with us.
Very good. And you guys, we're going to take another break. I think we're coming up on a break time. I know I'm surprising him. He's like, oh, she's taking the appropriate breaks at the appropriate time.
My keyboard's now.
You are listening to 97.5 FM KDEE. I am Agent Key, and we will be right back. Hey, y'all. Thank you again for tuning in online. If y'all have any questions for us, go ahead and type it in the chat. So I was going to say something about Rocket Mortgage, but then I heard this voice in my head say, we don't bash other businesses.
Got nothing nice to say, Jordan.
Yes. So because we just had an experience, I will say this. Throughout our transaction. So I'm going to say two things. I'm going to say one thing that points out something, and then I'm going to say another thing that gives them praise. Okay.
Sandwich.
Yes. So in the transaction, we communicated with at least 6 to 7 different people. 3 of them did the same job. 2 of them went on to do other things.
I see what you're saying.
Yes.
I see how they structure it.
Yes. One day it was like, so-and-so is no longer working on this file. I'll be taking over. And then so the same questions were asked. My buyer was asked to resubmit documents. However, once we got to the end of the transaction, and here's the good thing. They said they had a process of where, typically the file is in review. The way that I normally do with lenders or see it done with lenders, in review means in underwriting.
Yeah.
But they have a review before underwriting, which made me a little afraid because turn time on that. What's the turn time on that like? And I actually asked them, what's the turn time on that like? And then so out of review into underwriting, out of underwriting to docs, then docs to title. And so I'm like, I need to turn time on this, that, and that, And she came back and said, today is such and such. Docs should be entitled by tomorrow.
So it was like hands off.
Yeah, they actually did what they said. It went through those 4 processes, but docs were entitled the next day. And I said, I don't care. I don't care if I don't hear from you, as long as you are doing.
But let something happen though in a transaction, low appraisal,
well,
something like that.
And that's the part that made me afraid, because someone else told me, they said that company is infamous for at the last minute something happening. And I was like,
you got all these different eyes on your file. That can definitely cause confusion.
Too many chiefs in the kitchen. Is that what it's called?
For sure. Yeah. You need one cook in the kitchen. That's it.
Yes. Especially when you're especially with
that. They don't take good notes.
If they
we're coming back. All right, guys.
I had a new processor come on my file mid-transaction, and it was
because they have to get reacclimated to all that all over again.
It's like in the new
PC. All right, y'all, we're coming back. Hey, everyone, we are back. You're listening to 97.5 FM KDEE. I am Agent Key, and I am here with Mr. Daniel Robertson and Mr. Keelan Johnson.
Let's go.
And you are going to hear from both of these gentlemen. In a couple of Wednesdays, I'll be out. They'll be sitting in on my behalf. Hey, they'll be on social media. Trouble in the building. They're acting all nice now, while the cat's away.
We're going to take over.
Yeah.
I'm warmed up now.
Activation.
So we're talking about marry the payment, date the rate. So I really want to break down what that means. And we started the show off by talking about having a budget and the importance of having a budget. When you have a budget, you know what's coming in and you know what's going out. And as Dave Ramsey would say, every dollar has a name. So therefore, if you are pre-qualified, if you get pre-qualified, that lender is going to tell you what your monthly payment would be. If you already have a budget, you can see how much you can afford. There are people there, I see this all the time, where people get pre-qualified for an amount more than what they want to pay. And the numbers say you can afford it, but you say, oh no. And so that's why this particular market is so frightening, because the lenders are saying that this is what you can afford. But for a lot of people, it's like, oh, well, you can't afford what you want. And if you really had to bring that number down to what you really could afford, it's going to even get you even less of a house, right? So so this is the focus. The focus should be, and let me back up a little bit, knowing that none of these houses are going to sell with these 2021 prices. And I'm laughing and snickering and kiki ha, but it's true. They're not going to sell because they're producing a $4,000, $5,000 payment. Unless you're making $20,000 a month or more, you're not comfortable with that.
They're not even adjusting to the economy at this point.
Not even.
Oh, we didn't see those gas prices go up.
It's like, who's coming up with this stuff?
Yeah.
So here is why it's a buyer's market. Because now you go in with a different approach. You see this house that's been on the market 20 days, 30 days, 40, 50 plus. You see that it's a house that you can see yourself living in. And you make the offer at a price that fits your budget. You talk to your mortgage lender and you find out what that is. Now, I'm not talking, if you've been paying rent at $1,800 a month, you can forget that. You need to get acclimated to a $2,500 a month mortgage payment at least. At least. And I'm talking about averages here. I'm not talking about every situation. This is just averages. So if you get acclimated to a payment that fits your budget, that's how you shop for the house. You don't look at the price. Don't look at the price. Now, I'm not telling, don't go making an offer on $1 million home when you know you're trying to do a $2,500 payment. I'm talking about go look at houses where 2 years ago, they were $2,500 a month payment homes. You got the time. How's that expression go? I got time today.
You do have the time. Now, like you said, homes are sitting. So it's not like hey, we have to get an offer in today. Now you can kind of convene with your buyers, get with the lender. That's what I've been doing. I've just been getting with the lender and like, hey, this is what this house is priced at. Can you let us know what the future payment might potentially be? what the interest rate is, what it looks like if they buy down the interest here, if we need to ask for this. You just really got to put in that work as a realtor and a lender now. You can't just say, hey, let's just do it. You got to actually go to your skill set.
And you got to do it in advance.
Mm-hmm.
You can run these numbers in advance. You don't have to do it. You have to have a team who can do it. And Daniel and Keelan gave you their contact information, but I'm going to do you one even better. If you go to joinclub100.com, their info is there too. Joinclub100.com. They are a part of my team. This is Team Club 100 right here. And what is Team Club 100? We are helping turn Sacramentans into homeowners by taking the time to do this stuff. The lender partners on our team, which Daniel is one, and the agents who are on our team, this is the process. This is the thought process. We get to the end first and work backwards, because most lenders, most agents, they're not taking the time. I was actually at a conference not long ago, and there was a representative from a box bank there. I'm not going to mention no names, but the words came out of this person's mouth: come see me when you're ready. And he just solidified every thought that I had about box lenders when he said that.
Yeah. How am I supposed to know when I'm ready?
And what does ready look like?
What does ready look like?
Yeah. What is your ready?
So I wanted to answer your question, or your just kind of piggyback off your statement earlier about affordability. And yes, a lot of lenders don't, really take the time to consult with you, but they're supposed to, because this is an investment. You have to think like an investor. This isn't just, okay, I'm paying rent again. No, this is an investment. So this is your business. So you have to consult with professionals in order to, figure out the numbers on your investment. And what you qualify for is not what you can afford. Say that again.
Yes.
What you qualify for is not what you can afford.
And the only way you're going to know that is if you have a budget.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell my guys to look into the camera there, because that, even though it's a computer, it's people watching y'all.
Yeah.
And they going to hang in there with you if you look at it.
Daniel was giving some gems. I was trying to soak it in.
And you're looking all up.
Yeah.
Look at the peepers in the
no.
screen.
Can you say that one more time? Look on the camera. Say that one more time. Looking at the camera, Daniel.
So what you qualify for is not what you can afford.
That's right.
So you need to take a long, hard look at what's going out, like Keisha said, and what's coming in, and make some smart decisions on if you want to keep renting or if you want to, take that step to become a homeowner.
100%. When you go into it with that mindset, then purchasing a home is a whole new ball game. You're thinking ahead too. You're not just thinking, I just want to get a home. Now you're thinking about plays that you could potentially make.
Right.
So he's definitely right. Make sure that budget is on point, so you're not house broke.
Right.
Yeah.
And I like how Keelan had mentioned earlier, and I meant to bring this up. Keelan talked about the house and using it, and it's like your bank. It's like your personal bank. And for people who are renting, you are going to be paying off that landlord's mortgage, or you're going to be paying yourself and then making an investment in your bank, which would be home ownership. And so, as Daniel is saying, make that decision. That's something you should consider as you're assessing whether or not you make that decision. Do you want to continue to put a couple of $1,000s every month? Because I think we even did the numbers on here one time, renting over 5 years. When we say, I don't have $50,000. Oh, you got it. You got it. And you're giving it right to your landlord.
That's right.
Every month, year over year.
That's right.
So where do you want to make that investment? Do you want to put it into an account, which would be home ownership, which eventually year over year will have a 5 to 7% return? Or do you want to give that money to a landlord and helping him or her build their year over year return? Because you will never see a dime, not one dime, from the money that you put out as a renter.
100%.
Your landlord might be kind enough to leave a card on your door and say, thank you for renting from us.
100%. 100%. I mean, not only that, right? Usually they charge you a little more than what the mortgage is. So that appreciation, that number, that 5 to 7 is a little bit. It's a little bit more.
Right, right. And you would not have been able to take advantage of the 2%, 3%. I'm not going to poo-poo the rates.
Yeah.
When they came, a lot of people refinanced and it put them in a great position. It won't put you won't have the opportunity to be placed in a great position if you don't pull the trigger when you're able to.
So this is what I'm gonna say to people. You never know. You don't know what you don't know. So you need to at least just try. Just if you feel like you're in an okay position, getting with the lender, like Keisha said, that big bank, come to me when you're ready. Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't know if I'm ready, right? Going to a lender, even if you're not able to purchase right now, guess what can be created? A game plan. Now you have more awareness. You're conscious of where your current positioning is. So then you can structure a plan to get you to where you need to be. So if you're even thinking about purchasing a home, just go check it out and see what comes up. Because then, like I said, you can prepare yourself.
Do you want to add anything to that, Daniel?
No, everything he said, he hit it right on the head. He want to put this. Everything's about positioning. So you got to think down the line. Real estate's a long-term game, and it's cliche, and a lot of people don't like that. They don't get money out of it quick, but it's a piece of that generational wealth puzzle, and it's one of the biggest pieces. So.
And just in closing, I want to thank both Keelan and Daniel for being on the show. And I want to end with this. Remember, rates do what rates do. They go up, they come down. They go up, they come down. Don't allow the rate to necessarily impact whether or not you choose to buy a home, especially if the monthly payment, the location, and the home itself perfectly fits your needs. Remember, marry the payment, date the rate.
Because the date can be refinanced and changed, right, at a later date, right?
He messed up my ending. I was trying to close it out all nice and package it with a bow. He just because then I started thinking about some more stuff. Like,
it's
yes, I wanted to go into.
It's beautiful.
All right.
It was beautiful.
So everybody, yes, but just to Keelan's point, what he was saying, when you do get into a rate, if your payment is right, you can do things to buy the rate down. And that's where you want to talk to a lender partner.
Hello.
Yes. And remember, you guys, if you are doing what you were created to do, we will see you at the top.
Let's go.
Okay. All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Yusuf, what does he say, sir? I see a few homes that state for sale by owner. Do rates vary in that instance?
For sale by owner?
No, you still have to get the buyer still has to get a loan.
He's a seller. He doesn't have to really worry about.
Hey, Nikki, I see you. Ashe, right back to you. Ashe.
Ashe.
So just to kind of respond to your question, Yusuf, I think the guys are saying if it's a for sale by owner, they don't have any control over financing. They do have control over the offer that they choose. And you want to be careful with a for sale by owner property because you always want to have representation. If you get caught up in something where you don't have representation, it can turn into a nasty legal battle. So be very careful with those for sale by owners. You're probably going to see a lot of them now because the market is changing up and sellers are probably thinking they can get their house sold and the agent ain't doing a good job. But be careful.
Yep. And you're not going to make all the money you should have made on it. Probably getting.
Are you saying you're the for sale by owner or?
I see a few homes
that state for So you're
he
gonna. He said, "Copy that. Thanks a bunch."
Welcome.
Yep.
You're very welcome.
Yep. All right, ladies. Thank you, ladies and gents, for tuning in. Everyone. We'll see y'all next Wednesday.
All right.
Peace.